The cathedral doors exploded open just as the officiant asked if anyone objected to the union. 200 guests turned in their seats. The string quartet stopped mid-note. At the altar, Kang Ji-woo stood frozen in his custom Tom Ford tuxedo. Beside him, his bride-to-be, Yuna, daughter of the Busan crime syndicate, went pale beneath her cathedral veil. Standing in the doorway, backlit by the autumn sun, was Zara Mitchell. She wore the same black maid's uniform she'd worked in for 3 years at Ji-woo's mansion.
No makeup. No jewelry.
Her natural hair pulled into a simple bun, and in her arms, wrapped in white cotton, a 6-month-old baby boy with Ji-woo's unmistakable dark, sharp eyes. "I object," Zara said quietly. Her American accent cut through the shocked silence. Ji-woo's mother, Madame Kang Soo-jin, matriarch of Seoul's most powerful crime family, stood from the front pew. "Security, remove this woman immediately." Zara walked down the aisle with her head high, heels clicking against marble, baby cooing softly in her arms. "You can remove me," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "But you can't remove the truth. This child is yours, Ji-woo. And everyone in this cathedral is about to find out exactly what kind of man you really are." The baby chose that moment to laugh, a bright, innocent sound that echoed off the vaulted ceiling.
Yevoas carefully constructed mesk shattered.
He knew that laugh. He'd heard it 6 months ago, the night everything changed. The night he'd broken every rule he'd ever set for himself. The night he'd fallen in love with his Black American maid and destroyed both their lives in the process. Before we dive into the story, I need you to do something. Drop your country in the comments. I want to know where you're watching from. Hit subscribe because what you're about to witness will absolutely shatter you. And smash that like button because this one's different. Now let's go back 1 year and find out how Maid, a mafia boss, and a baby destroyed an empire. Zara Mitchell had come to Korea with a plan: work for 2 years, save money, pay off her mother's medical debt, and return to Chicago to finish her nursing degree. She hadn't planned on working for a criminal. The job agency was vague. Private estate, wealthy family, excellent pay, discretion required. The salary was triple what she could make anywhere else. Her mother's cancer treatment couldn't wait. So Zara signed the contract. The mansion was a fortress, 20 rooms, 12 security cameras, guards at every entrance. She learned quickly that the Kang family's wealth didn't come from real estate or technology, despite what their official records claimed. They made it from fear. Kang Ji-woo ran Seoul's underworld from the shadows. At 32, he'd inherited his father's empire and expanded it ruthlessly. Protection rackets, high-stakes gambling, money laundering through legitimate businesses. He was methodical, cold, untouchable. Zara's job was simple: clean the private wing, stay invisible, ask no questions. For the first 6 months, she succeeded. She'd see Ji-woo occasionally, passing through hallways, emerging from his study at 3 a.m. when she was mopping floors. He never acknowledged her. Not a nod, not a word. She preferred it that way. It happened on a Tuesday in March. Zara was cleaning Ji-woo's private study, something she only did when he was out. She was dusting his bookshelf when she heard the door open behind her. Ji-woo stood in the doorway, suit jacket gone, tie loosened, blood on his white shirt. She froze. "I'm sorry, Mr. Kang. I thought you were out. I'll come back." "Stay." His voice was rough, exhausted. "Just stay." He walked to his desk, poured whiskey with shaking hands. Zara had never seen him anything less than perfectly composed. "Are you injured?" she asked quietly. He laughed, bitter, broken.
"No."
"The blood isn't mine." She should have left. Every instinct screamed at her to leave. Instead, she said, "You should clean that shirt in cold water. Hot water sets blood stains." He looked at her then. Really looked at her for the first time in 6 months. "What's your name?" he asked. "Zara, sir." "Zara." He tested the word. You're American. From Chicago. Why are you here? In Korea, working for people like me. She could have lied. Should have lied. My mother has stage 4 breast cancer. The treatment costs more than I'll make in 5 years. So I'm here, cleaning houses for men who do things I don't ask about because sometimes survival means compromising your principles. Silence stretched between them. Then Ji-woo said, I'm sorry about your mother. And something in the way he said it, genuine, human, vulnerable, made Zara see him as more than just the cold boss who signed her paychecks. Thank you, she whispered. He stood, moved toward the door.
Paused.
The study is fine. You don't need to finish. Go home early tonight, Zara. It was the kindest thing anyone in that house had ever said to her. After that night, things changed. Ji-woo started acknowledging her. A nod in the hallway. Good morning, when she brought breakfast to his study. Questions about her mother's treatment. Zara told herself it was just politeness, that she was reading too much into basic human decency. But then came the flowers. She found them on her cleaning cart one morning, a small bouquet of African daisies, her favorite. No note, but she knew. The flowers are beautiful, she told him that evening. Thank you. I don't know what you're talking about, he said. But his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. The next week, her mother's hospital called. An anonymous donor had paid off the entire remaining balance, $127,000. Zara confronted him. I can't accept this. Then work it off, Ji-woo said simply. Stay another year. 2 years. However long it takes. Why would you do this? He looked at her with those dark, intense eyes. Because watching you work yourself to exhaustion for months made me realize something. You're the only honest person in this house. Maybe in my entire life. And I wanted to help. That's all. But it wasn't all. They both knew it. It happened 3 months later, on a night when Ji-woo came home late, drunk, grieving. One of his men had been killed, a young guy, 23, caught in a territory dispute. Ji-woo blamed himself. Zara found him in the garden at 2 a.m., still in his blood-spattered suit from the funeral. You should come inside, she said gently. It's cold. I can't feel cold anymore, he said. I can't feel anything anymore. She sat beside him on the stone bench. Didn't touch him. Just sat. You feel things, she said quietly. I've seen you. The way you check on your mother every morning. The way you remember the names of every staff member's children. The way you looked at that boy's mother at the funeral like her pain was yours. You feel everything, Ji-woo. You just pretend you don't. He turned to her. How do you do that? Do what? See me? Really see me? When everyone else only sees the ghost of soul. Because I'm not afraid of you, Zara said honestly. I've seen too much real pain in my life to be afraid of someone who's just trying to survive his own. Ji-woo reached for her hand. She should have pulled away. She didn't. Zara, he whispered. I can't stop thinking about you. For months, I've tried. I've told myself 1,000 reasons why this is impossible. Why I shouldn't feel what I feel. But I can't stop.
Llevo.
I'm in love with you, he said. Simple. Devastating.
True.
Zara felt tears on her cheeks. This can't happen. You know that. Your world, my world, they don't fit together. I don't care about worlds. I care about you.
He kissed her then. Soft.
Desperate. Like she was air, and he was drowning. She kissed him back. They made love in his bedroom that night. Slow. Tender. World-destroying. Afterward, tangled in silk sheets, he traced patterns on her dark skin and whispered, Stay with me. Not as my employee. As mine. Your mother would never accept it. My mother doesn't control my heart. Zara wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. But she'd lived in Korea long enough to know. Powerful families don't marry Black American maids. They use them. Discard them. Forget them. Still, for that one night, she let herself pretend. They continued in secret for 2 months. Stolen kisses in empty hallways. Nights in his private wing when everyone slept. Mornings where he'd watch her dress and look at her like she'd hung the moon. "Run away with me," he said once. "We could go somewhere. Start over. You'd never leave this life. It's in your blood. You're in my blood now." But reality came crashing down when Zara missed her period. She took 3 tests, all positive. She sat on the bathroom floor of her tiny staff quarters and felt her world implode. A baby. Jiwoo's baby. She had 2 choices. Tell him and watch him either reject her or try to claim the child. Or disappear. Before she could decide, Madame Kong summoned her. The matriarch sat in her private sitting room, tea growing cold on the table between them. "You've been sleeping with my son," she said. "Not a question." Zara's stomach dropped. "Madame Kong, don't insult me with denials. I have eyes everywhere." She sipped her tea. "I'm not angry. I understand. My son is handsome, powerful, lonely. And you're young, pretty, exotic. It was bound to happen." The word exotic felt like a slap. "But it ends now," Madame Kong continued. "I've arranged Jiwoo's marriage to Yuna Park, daughter of the Busan Syndicate. The wedding is in 6 months. This union will unite our families and end years of territorial disputes. Does Jiwoo know? He will accept it. He always does his duty." Zara stood on shaking legs. "I quit. You have a contract."
Swimming.
Zara walked toward the door. "Miss Mitchell." Madame Kang's voice stopped her. "I'm offering you $200,000 to disappear quietly.
Take it.
Leave Korea. Start a new life somewhere my son will never find you." Zara turned. "I don't want your money. Everyone wants money, dear. The question is whether you're smart enough to take it and go." Zara left without answering. That night, she packed 2 suitcases and wrote Jiwoo a letter. "I'm sorry. Your mother is right. We live in different worlds. I can't be the reason you lose your family or your empire.
Please don't look for me.
Be happy. You deserve happiness, even if it's not with me." She left it on his pillow and disappeared into the Seoul night. She didn't tell him about the baby. Zara fled to Jeju Island, far enough from Seoul to feel safe, close enough to Korea's medical system for prenatal care. She found work teaching English online, rented a small apartment overlooking the ocean, and tried to convince herself she'd made the right choice. The pregnancy was difficult. Morning sickness lasted all day. Her body ached. She was lonely, terrified, and broke. But when the baby moved, those first flutters at 16 weeks, everything changed. This child was hers, not Jiwoo's, not the Kong family's. Hers. She named him before he was even born, Isaiah. Strong. Survivor. She would raise him alone. Teach him to be nothing like his father's world. No violence, no crime, no cold calculations. Just love. Labor came at 37 weeks. Fast and brutal. She made it to the hospital barely in time. No partner. No family. Just her and a team of kind nurses who held her hands while she screamed. Isaiah arrived at dawn. 6 pounds 3 ounces. Perfect. He had Jiwoo's sharp eyes and her full lips. A beautiful blend of worlds that should never have collided. When they placed him on her chest, Zara cried. Not from pain. From overwhelming love. "I've got you," she whispered to her son. "I'll always have you." For 6 months, she kept her secret. Then she saw the wedding announcement online. Kong Jiwoo to wed Park Yuna in cathedral ceremony. The photo showed Jiwoo in a black suit, Yuna in white, both smiling for cameras. The perfect power couple. Zara stared at the screen while Isaiah nursed and felt something harden in her chest. He'd moved on. Found his dynasty bride. Would probably have legitimate heirs and forget the black maid he'd loved for a summer. But Isaiah existed, and he deserved to know his father. More importantly, Jiwoo deserved to know what he'd left behind. Zara made a decision that would change everything. She contacted an old friend from the mansion, Minesio, a junior security guard who'd always been kind to her. Minesio, I need a favor. Zara? Everyone's been looking for you. Mr. Kong went crazy when you disappeared. He tore the mansion apart looking for clues. I need to know the wedding details. Date, time, location. Silence. Then, why? Because I have something he needs to see. The wedding was set for Saturday at Seoul Cathedral. 2 p.m. 200 guests. Zara bought a plane ticket with the last of her savings. She packed Isaiah's things carefully.
Formula.
Diapers. His favorite blanket. Her mother called from Chicago. Baby, are you sure about this? Zara had finally told her mother everything 3 months ago. The affair. The pregnancy. The decision to hide. I'm sure, Mama. He deserves to know. Isaiah deserves to have his father's name. And if he rejects you both, then at least I'll know I tried. She flew to Seoul on Friday night. Checked into a cheap hotel near the cathedral. Spent the night feeding Isaiah, changing him, preparing herself for what came next. Saturday morning, she dressed in her old maid's uniform. It still fit. She looked at herself in the mirror. Black dress. White collar. Isaiah in her arms. Ready to meet your father? She whispered. Isaiah cooed, grabbing her finger. At 1:55 p.m., Zara stood outside Seoul Cathedral. Security was everywhere. Guest lists. Metal detectors. She waited until 2 o'clock, when she knew the ceremony would be starting. Then she walked straight to the main entrance. I'm here for the Kong wedding, she told the guard. Name? Zara Mitchell. I'm family. The guard checked his list, frowned. You're not. Tell Madam Kong that Zara Mitchell is here with her grandson. See if she still wants me kept out. The guard's eyes went to the baby. His face paled. He spoke rapidly into his radio. 30 seconds later, Madam Kong herself appeared in the doorway. She looked at Zara, at Isaiah. Her face turned to stone. You dare. I dare, Zara said quietly. Your son has a right to know. This child has a right to exist. Now step aside, or I start screaming to every reporter outside that the ghost of Seoul abandoned his black son. Madam Kang's jaw clenched, but she stepped aside. You'll regret this, she hissed. I already have regrets. This won't be one of them. Zara walked into the cathedral just as the officiant said those fateful words. If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace.
She didn't hesitate.
I object. The cathedral erupted in chaos. Reporters who'd been confined to the back began shouting questions. Cameras flashed. Guests stood, craning for a better look. At the altar, Yuna grabbed Jiwoo's arm. Who was that? But Jiwoo couldn't answer. He was staring at Zara like she'd risen from the dead. And then his eyes dropped to the baby. Zara saw the exact moment he understood. His face went white. His hands clenched. Zara? His voice barely carried over the noise. She walked down the aisle. Every step felt like walking through fire. She reached the altar, looked him dead in the eye. His name is Isaiah, she said loud enough for everyone to hear. He's 6 months old. And he's yours. Yuna gasped. This is insane. She's lying. Some woman trying to. I'm not lying. Zara pulled a folder from her bag, handed it to Jiwoo. DNA test results. I had them done 2 weeks ago using samples from your hairbrush that I kept. 99.9% match. Jiwoo's hands shook as he opened the folder.
Read.
His face crumpled. You were pregnant, he whispered. When you left, you were pregnant, and you didn't tell me. Your mother made it very clear what my place was. Every eye turned to Madam Kong. The matriarch stood. This is a shameless attempt at extortion. Security, remove this woman.
No.
Jiwoo's voice cut through the cathedral like a gunshot. He stepped down from the altar. walked to Zara, looked at Isaiah. The baby stared back at him with those same dark eyes. May I?
Jiwo whispered.
Zara hesitated, then carefully transferred Isaiah into his father's arms. Jiwoo held his son like he was made of glass. Tears streamed down his face. "He is my eyes," he said, voice breaking. "Yes. And your mouth." "Yes. Why didn't you tell me?" Zara's voice was steel. "Because your mother offered me money to disappear. Because you were getting married to someone appropriate. Because I didn't want my son raised in a world where his mother is considered a shameful secret." Jiwoo looked at his mother. "You knew?" Madame Kong lifted her chin. "I suspected. I did what was necessary to protect this family. You paid the woman I love to disappear while she was carrying my child." His voice shook the rafters. The cathedral was dead silent. Yuna found her voice.
Jiwo.
"We can work through this. The child can be accommodated, given a trust fund, education. But you and I, the marriage still makes sense." "Get out," Jiwoo said quietly. "What? Get out. All of you. This wedding is over." Chaos. Guests scrambling. Reporters rushing forward. Security trying to control the crowd. But Jiwoo stood in the center of it all, holding his son, looking at Zara with a mixture of love and devastation and rage. "We need to talk," he said. "Please. Just give me a chance to fix this." Zara looked at the wreckage around them. The ruined wedding. The destroyed alliances. His mother's fury. Yuna's tears. "You can't fix this, Jiwoo. Some things are broken beyond repair." "Then let me try anyway."
Isaiah grabbed Jiwo's finger.
Held tight. Zara felt her resolve waver. "One conversation," she said. "Then I'm taking my son back to Jeju, and you can decide if you want to be a father or a mafia boss. Because you can't be both." "Yes, I can." His voice was iron. "Watch me." They met in a hotel suite 2 hours later. Jiwoo had changed into casual clothes. Jeans. T-shirt. Zara had never seen him look so ordinary. Isaiah slept in a portable crib Jiwoo had somehow procured in under an hour. "Talk," Zara said, arms crossed.
Jiwo paced.
"When you left, I looked for you for months. I hired investigators. Tracked your phone, your bank accounts. You vanished like smoke. That was the point. My mother told me you'd taken her money and gone back to America. I believed her." He laughed bitterly. "I always believe her, even when my gut tells me she's lying." "So you moved on. Found a suitable bride." "I did what I was told because I'd lost you, and I didn't care anymore." He slammed his fist on the table. "I didn't care about the marriage or the alliance or anything. I was going through the motions of a life that meant nothing. That's not my problem. You were pregnant with my child, and you didn't tell me." His voice cracked. "How could you not tell me?" Zara felt tears burn. "Because I've seen what your world does to people. I didn't want Isaiah raised by bodyguards and blood money. I didn't want him learning that power comes from fear. I wanted him to have a normal life. With no father? With a mother who loves him more than anything in this world. Which is more than you had." Direct hit.
Jiwo flinched.
"You're right," he said quietly. "My father raised me to be cold. My mother raised me to be ruthless. I don't know how to be anything else." "Then learn. For him." She pointed at Isaiah. "Because if you want to be in his life, you don't get to be the ghost of soul. You have to be a man. A real one." Jiwoo walked to the crib, looked down at his sleeping son. "I want to be his father," he said. "I want to change. I don't know how. Start by telling me the truth. About everything."
So he did.
He told her about the arranged marriage he'd agreed to out of obligation. About his mother's control over every aspect of his life. About the guilt that aided him every time someone died because of his orders. About how loving her had been the only real thing he'd ever felt. "I'm not a good man, Zara. But with you, I wanted to be. And with him. He touched Isaiah's tiny hand. I need to be. Zara saw the cracks in his armor. The vulnerability he'd always hidden. You have to leave this life, she said. Completely. I can't just walk away from the family business. Then you can't have us. She said it firmly. I won't raise Isaiah in a world where his father might not come home because of a gang war, where he might be kidnapped for leverage, where he learns that violence solves problems.
No.
Jiwoo closed his eyes. You're asking me to give up everything. I'm asking you to choose. Them or us. That's not fair. Life isn't fair. Zara stood. I gave up everything to keep Isaiah safe. My country. My plans. My future. You can give up a business built on broken bones and broken promises. Isaiah woke up crying. Zara went to him automatically, lifted him, rocked him. Jiwoo watched them. Mother and son. His family. Teach me, he said softly.
What?
How to be a father. I don't know how to hold him right or what he needs or teach me. Please. Zara hesitated. Then she walked to Jiwoo, carefully transferred Isaiah into his arms, adjusted his hands. Support his head. Like this. Rock gently.
Talk to him.
He likes hearing voices. Jiwoo held his son. Stared down at the tiny, perfect face. Hey Isaiah, he whispered. I'm your dad. I'm sorry I missed the first 6 months. I'm sorry for a lot of things. But I'm here now. And I'm going to figure this out. I promise. Isaiah stopped crying. Looked up at his father with wide dark eyes.
Grabbed его estam.
And Jiwoo absolutely broke. He sank into a chair, holding his son, sobbing like a child himself. I'm sorry, he choked out. I'm so sorry. For everything. For not protecting you from my mother. For not finding you. For not being there.
I'm sorry.
Zara knelt beside them, put her hand on Jiwoo's shoulder. We can't change the past, she said gently. But we can build a different future. If you're willing to do the work. He looked at her with red eyes. I'll do anything. Even walk away from your family? He looked at Isaiah. At Zara. The next morning, Jiwoo called an emergency meeting at Kong Mansion. His mother. His 2 younger brothers. The family's core advisors. Zara waited in a hotel with Isaiah, watching the news coverage of the ruined wedding. At the mansion, Madame Kong was icy. I hope you've come to your senses. I have, Jiwoo said. I'm leaving the family business. Silence. Then uproar. His brothers shouted. Advisors protested. His mother went still as death. You would abandon us? She said quietly. For that woman and her child? My child, Jiwoo corrected. My son. And yes. We made you who you are. You made me into someone I hate. Jiwoo's voice shook. Someone who can't love without permission. Who can't choose his own life. Who has to marry for alliances instead of happiness. I'm done. If you walk away from everything. Your inheritance. Your position. Your family name. Then I walk away from everything. His younger brother Taemin stood. Hyung, think about this. You'd give up billions for love. For my son. For a chance to be someone better than who I am. Jiwoo looked at his mother. You taught me to be strong. Let me be strong enough to choose differently than you did. Madame Kang's face was stone. If you leave, you're dead to me. I've been dead for years, mother. I'm finally trying to live. He walked out. Behind him, his mother didn't cry, didn't rage. She just sat in silence as her eldest son, her heir, chose love over empire. Jiwoo transferred his legal assets into a trust, liquidated what he could, and walked away from the rest. He emerged with about $50 million, a fraction of what he'd controlled, but enough to start over. He bought a house in Jeju, near the ocean. 3 bedrooms. Zara moved in, cautious, one day at a time. The first night, Jiwoo slept on the couch. I need to earn my way back into your trust, he said. I won't rush this. He took parenting classes, read books on child development, woke up for 3 a.m. feedings.
He was terrible at it.
Couldn't figure out the bottle warmer. Mixed formula wrong. Panicked every time Isaiah cried. But he tried. Every single day he tried. Zara watched him transform from the ghost of soul into just
Yivo.
a man learning to be a father. 1 month in, she found him sitting on the floor of Isaiah's nursery, crying. What's wrong? She asked. I miss so much, he said. His first smile. His first laugh. I'll never get that back. No, she agreed. But you're here for what comes next. He looked up at her. Am I? Really? Because I feel like I'm failing at everything. Parenting is failing repeatedly and trying again. She sat beside him. You're doing fine. Isaiah deserves better than fine. Isaiah deserves a father who shows up, who tries, who loves him even when it's hard. You're already giving him that. Jiwoo leaned his head on her shoulder. I love you, he whispered. I never stopped. I know, Zara said. But love isn't enough. You have to prove you've changed. How long? However long it takes. Isaiah's first birthday. They celebrated in the backyard of their Jeju home. Small party. Zara's mother flew in from Chicago. A few neighbors.
No mafia. No bodyguards.
No empire. Just family. Jiwoo had found work as a business consultant, using his strategic mind for legitimate purposes. It paid far less than crime, but he came home without blood on his conscience. Isaiah took his first steps that day, wobbled from Jiwoo's arms to Zara's, giggling the whole way. They both cried. That night, after everyone left, they sat on the porch, while Isaiah slept inside. I've been thinking, Jiwoo said. Dangerous, Zara teased. I want to marry you.
Properly. No quesidril.
No 200 guests. Just us and Isaiah, and whoever you want there. Zara looked at him. You know what marriage to me means, right? Your mother will never forgive you. Your family will never accept Isaiah. My family is sleeping in that crib. My family is sitting right here. The rest is just history. You really mean that? I've spent a year proving it. I walked away from billions. I learned to change diapers and burp babies. I read Goodnight Moon approximately 8,000 times. I think I've earned the right to ask. Zara smiled. You haven't actually asked yet. Jiwoo slid off the porch chair, knelt on one knee. Zara Mitchell, you destroyed my life in the best possible way. You gave me a son I don't deserve and a chance to be better than I was. Will you marry me? She pretended to think about it. Will there be a cathedral? City Hall. Tuesday afternoon. Sweatpants optional. Will your mother crash it with objections? She doesn't know where we live, and I'd like to keep it that way. Will you panic during the vows? Absolutely. But I'll do it anyway. Zara pulled him up.
Kissed him.
Then yes. But only because Isaiah needs legitimate parents for his school registration. Whatever gets you to say yes. They got married 3 weeks later. City Hall. Zara's mother as witness. Isaiah in a tiny suit. No media. No drama.
No objections.
Just them. And when Jiwoo kissed his bride, he tasted salt from both their tears. I love you, he whispered against her lips. I know, she said. Now, let's go home. Home was a 3-bedroom house in Jeju. Home was a former Mafia boss learning to make grilled cheese without burning it. Home was a Black American nurse-turned-mother teaching their son 2 languages. Home was messy and imperfect and nothing like the empire Jiwoo had left behind. But it was real. And it was theirs. 5 years later, Isaiah started kindergarten. He was bright, curious, bilingual, and completely unaware that his father used to be one of Korea's most feared criminals. Jiwoo had gray in his hair now, laugh lines around his eyes. Zara had finished her nursing degree online, and worked at a local clinic. They were normal, ordinary,
happy.
One evening, Zara found an envelope on their doorstep. Inside, a photo of Isaiah at the playground, and a note in elegant Korean script. He has his father's eyes, and your strength. Perhaps someday, when the anger fades, we might meet.
MK.
Madam Kong. Jiwoo found Zara staring at the photo.
She found us, Zara said.
He took the note. Read it. His face was unreadable. Do you want to see her? Zara asked. Do you? I asked first. Jiwoo looked at the photo of his son.
Happy.
Safe.
Loved.
Maybe someday, he said. When Isaiah is old enough to understand. When he can choose for himself whether he wants to know that part of his history. And until then, we keep building this life. This good, simple, beautiful life. He pulled her close, kissed her forehead. You destroyed me, he whispered. And then you rebuilt me into someone better. Thank you. You're welcome. Now help me make dinner. Isaiah wants spaghetti. I always burn the garlic. I know. You're terrible at cooking, but you're getting better. At cooking or at life? Both. They walked inside, hand in hand, to where their son was building block towers and humming to himself. And somewhere in Seoul, Madam Kong sat in her empty mansion, staring at the same photo, wondering if the empire had been worth losing her son. The answer, she was beginning to realize, was no. But some lessons come too late. Sometimes the greatest act of strength isn't holding on to power, it's having the courage to walk away from it for love. Jiwoo chose to be destroyed by the truth, so he could be rebuilt by something real. And Zara chose to forgive, not because it was easy, but because Isaiah deserved a father willing to change. What would you choose? Empire or love? Power or family? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button for more stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And remember, sometimes being destroyed is the first step to becoming who you were always meant to be.